Welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. They are just now trying to come back from their getting drinks because we were a little late running on our Ramble episode. So, with that said, welcome to episode 131. We are going to put together a bunch of models. A lot of us are doing some hobbying today. Today am going to be working on Drax and Ronan, Thanos, Gamora, Nebula. And getting those put together. Kathy's going to be working on some green stuff miniatures. And I'm not sure what John's going to be working on. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about bits. Bits, and more bits. Even they don't even know what we're talking about because they're all out of there and I didn't even tell them. So we're going to be talking about bits and what to do with bits and how to do bits and what games allow you to use bits and all that good stuff. So everybody's going to be coming back shortly. In case you missed it, this next week we are having a Gunpla episode with Nestor. Nestor's going to be on here. We're talking about Gunpla, and I'm going to be putting together a Ironblood Orphans kit. We're going to be talking about all that good stuff. And of course, Banion's completely stoked about it and can't wait to see it. He's like, all good kits must cost $300 or they're crap. And, well, we're going to ignore him. And then we'll have a normal episode after that week. And then the week after that, we're going to have Jason Craze on here from Monument Hobbies. Talking about his paint line and everything else. And also his Twitch stream, because he does a lot of Twitch streaming too. So, it looks like everybody's coming back finally. Taking their sweet time.
We did warn you. We didn't get our 2-minute warning, so.
No.
You're rambling about Gunpla. Hi, everybody. I'm John.
Yeah. I'm not John.
I'm not John either. And I'm not Kathy, that's for sure. So, we are episode 131. I already told them the topic for the day. Kathy's going to be working on some green stuff. John? Yeah. I didn't tell y'all the topic of the day either.
So I finished my green stuff already during the pre-ramble. So I'm going to paint.
Oh, Kathy's going to paint then.
Bitch.
Yeah.
She won't paint. What you going to do?
I said, I'm going to put together some models. But our topic today, because I thought about it after I opened up my Thanos, is we're going to talk about bits. Bits, and more bits. And about bits in models and bits coming with different models and all the other stuff. So it's going to be a weird episode because I'm going to segue it with some other things. But before we do that, we got to get all of our sponsorship. We want to thank Creature Caster for hanging out with us and letting us be a sponsor of their product and sponsoring us and helping. If you don't know, go check out. Ooh, Kathy. There you go. Go check out their models. They're extremely awesome. Metalhead Minis. Everybody knows Lynn. Lynn is an incredibly awesome. And to give a quick segue, I'm going to post this. And if you can see it, you can click it and tell us what you think about those products. Because we are finally up on the Metalhead Minis website. And she's not fully ready. So we're doing a little bit of tests. So y'all get the first look at the More Than Dice stuff. But there's one product that's not on there yet. We also want to thank Muson Minis for supporting and holding and hosting our podcast so everybody can hear it. Makes it a whole lot easier to distribute it out. We appreciate it. Also, don't forget that if you buy anything from Muson Minis, make sure you use the code MORETHANDICE, all one word, and you'll get 10% off your order. And then Tectonic Craft Studios. I spoke to Dan this last week, and because of the news about Warfare Weekend, I, of course, called all my vendors and everything before we let it out in the public so they could know. And he's got some really cool stuff planned. He's going to be helping us out. He's going to be doing some pretty cool stuff for Warfare Weekend next year. Captain Busy with her angry face. Yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit before we get through.
I mean, the reality of that is working with companies that have a lot of conventions, where conventions are a majority of the money they make during the year, Captain Izzy, trust me when I say that no one is doing it lightly, but unfortunately it has to.
Tributes, shout outs today. One big one this week. Our buddy Grant Imahara. That
Shit.
was a shock.
Completely unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's not like the kind of guy you'd expect to die from COVID, but brain aneurysm doesn't care. They just
And the thing is he was like the nerd on Mythbusters. And that's the best way to put it. He was the nerd's
'cause they're
nerd.
all nerds, but he was extra nerd.
Yeah. He was really, really cool. And he was a really good guy outside of the show, too. Everybody that said that they went and saw him at different places, he was very, very, very nice, very, personable, brought a lot of people into engineering and everything else. It did get a lump in my throat when they showed the last thing he was working on was an animatronic Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And he showed up a chicken nugget to the Baby Yoda, and I was like, you fuckers. But as a tribute, I think they played Mythbusters all weekend for him on Discovery Channel and everything. And I will always remember his the Watcha, the rocket firing arrow device that they designed. And I always remember him going, Watcha! So that was a big shout out. That was the science and geek and nerd industry lost a pretty big person. Anybody have anybody else?
Not that I recall. I mean, that was the big one.
It was.
And it was tough explaining to people at work who it was because some people I work with didn't know.
Which is
Surprises me, but then I realized just how nerdy I am compared to the average person, so to speak.
correct. Yeah. Ooh, my monitor went freaky for a second.
John,
Other
so what
than
you
that-
drinking?
Today, I am going to be drinking a vanilla porter from Breckenridge Brewery. It's my last one. Had it before. It's good. It's probably not going to be able to get through it all today because I am kind of watching my intake for a little bit.
I watch my intake. Where does it go in my intake hole?
Yeah. But I've lost about 12 pounds. Almost. I would say I've lost about 17 pounds, but I know some of that is water over the last 2 months. So 2 to 3 months. So
Months. Wow.
2 to 3 months, I'm going to
When
keep it.
someone else is at home gaining that COVID weight, you're losing the weight?
I'm losing the weight. I was originally 275, and now I'm down to about 250 something. So, give or take.
If you ever want to feel good about your weight, just ask me how much I weigh.
No, I'm not going to do that. I just want to make sure that I'm being healthy.
Gonzo doesn't bother me. It
No.
really doesn't. Like, if you ever feel, because you've seen me, you know my size and all. I have a lot of weight for my size. It usually makes people feel better.
No, I don't. It won't make me feel better. But I'm doing it for myself. I'm cutting down a little bit of proportions. I'm drinking a little bit less alcohol. So, other than that, just kind of going with it. Kathy, what are you drinking tonight?
Gin and tonic.
Gin tonic.
That's
I
great.
had to say it that way.
I mean,
Gin and tonic. John, what are you drinking
Hey.
tonight?
actually, so I'm trying my cherry drink again. Just instead of the cherry cola, I have cherry 7-Up, and I use a little less of it and a little more of the cherry juice.
Okay. Yeah, because the cherry 7-Up isn't like really strong cherry.
No, it's not very much cherry at all.
No, it's not.
And it's not very good. I remembered it being better. So just finishing off the 2-liter because I didn't. For some reason, the local stores don't carry 20 ounces of cherry Coke because they fucking hate me.
Oh, yeah, they just don't like you.
Or they like me because they don't want me to drink all the 20 ounces of cherry Coke. We'll go with like me.
Like me.
It's always more positive.
To everybody out there that's listening and watching, support us on Patreon. Support us on. Now we have a link to buy some of the products that we have, and there is some more dice on there, John. And
Wait, more than the ones you showed me last night?
the more than dice. Nobody has that link but you and Kathy right now, and a couple other people. This one is the more than dice store.
I've got more than dice.
You
I
want
have
more?
a shit ton of more than dice. Remember, I was part of that dice order.
Oh, I know. I remember that. They were like, half of these dice are John's. The other half we're selling. Guys, please look after each other. Please watch out. please stay safe. Wear the mask. Look after. Do everything you can. I'm serious. Just look after each other. Cheers.
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 That's good.
The Kickstarter
Mine is
for
also
dice that
surprisingly
has
good.
glittery liquid inside. That seems just kind of
Unnecessary?
off balance. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think it would
I
roll
know.
very well.
I'm not a physics expert.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're looking at most of the polyhedral dice we roll, they're not actually meant to roll. I mean,
Okay.
cubes are not necessarily meant to be rolled.
Cubes are not meant to be. What?
Call me
That's
crazy. It's
that's
just
silly, John. That's just silly talk.
look. I backed 2 entire Kickstarters off the premise of, cubes are not meant to roll, and I'm like, well, you know what? You are darn tootin'. That is absolutely true. I will read the rest of your Kickstarter, which is why I have so many of the double 6 dice, which are basically 12-sided, 1 to 6, 1 to 6. And then I have their second wave Kickstarter coming soonish.
Ooh. Sorry, I had to fix my.
And again, we also mentioned before, I am a dice war. But I will not buy glittery liquid inside dice. That seems a bit too much.
Okay, so
You say that now.
I'm not going to buy them.
Hmm.
I got my Thanos box set. It came in. Woohoo! Yay! And I was like, holy fuck, this box is big. Bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. So I opened it up. So let's open it up. Ooh, look at all that pretty plastic.
For everyone who listens to us on the audio version, I apologize. You might want to check out the YouTube version just for this beginning part.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, okay, you got the stuff. You've got the cards.
Describe it to us as if we couldn't see it.
So you've got your punch outs of all the little, things that you have to have for the game. You have the instruction booklet, which is actually the ultimate encounter. Actually, this is the ultimate encounter part of it, where you can learn and play Thanos with all the gems. You got all the crisis cards and everything else that goes with the Thanos. Blah blah blah, blee blee blee. Good go. Then you have this little cardboard separator. Goes in the trash. And then you pull out the plastic.
Goes recycle.
Okay, goes to recycle. And you pull out all the plastic. Oh, here's the instructions to put it together.
That goes in the trash.
That goes in the
Plastic.
trash.
Thanos.
Got the cool little, the Thanos special edition little base for him. Cool, no problem.
Little.
Yeah. And then you have 3 sprues that are just the chair that he sits in. Throne, whatever you want to call it. These right here, these pieces right here, the throne,
I totally have a project idea
I will send them to you
for Thanos.
because I'm not going to use them. This is the only piece I care about, plus 1.
You can't see
Throne.
my face, but my face is all happy because I'm going to sculpt my own throne for him. And maybe in the chat you may have seen it, but it's totally going to be a toilet.
So,
Hey, Rush!
this
Secret Agent Rush, you're not that late.
this is the only thing I care about in the entire box. Besides the cards, the things to play him.
It kind of looks like a face, like a helmet face. The base.
The base, yeah, I can see that.
Doesn't it sort of look like Strong Bad, John?
It does.
Does look like from that.
It does look like
Sorta.
Strong Bad.
It looks like him from that game. Your head explode. I have that shirt somewhere.
You need to paint it like that, Gonzo.
Well, I actually have a paint scheme figured out for Thanos already. That is
It
going to
doesn't
be.
matter. The base needs to be painted like
I
that.
will give you the
Kathy, how about we
base.
paint Thanos like Strong Bad? How does that sound?
I love it. Can I? I'm gonna totally green stuff big old boxing gloves on him.
And so it got me thinking. This model with tax was $74, I think, type thing. And this is the only thing I'm using out of it. And I'm not even using it. I'm kind of curious why we didn't get, like, hey, here's just Thanos. You want Thanos? Here's Thanos and the ultimate encounter thing.
So, Gonzo, here's the thing. And I can tell you, this is easy. This is pure basic product thing. Is there's no money in that.
Correct.
Because they're not going to sell remotely near enough of the rest of it. But they know Thanos is going to sell like the proverbial hotcake.
Oh, yeah.
So
But
that's why they do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do an ultimate encounter. The only reason I got Thanos is so I could have them, put them together, and paint them. I don't have the team.
I have the ultimate encounter. I think that's a great idea because it gives you it's more value out of a model that, let's be honest, I'd be unlikely to actually play Thanos.
Correct. I'm not going to play Thanos. I just wanted to paint him up and, have him a little cool. And if, like, the store was like, hey, anybody have a Thanos we can have for the ultimate encounter? I'm like, yeah, here you go. I'm okay with that. But the throne, that was, I cringed at paying this much for this model. And for anybody who's wondering, I am definitely going to do the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't care. I'm not going to magnetize it. Infinity Gauntlet all the way.
Yeah, I'm not big on magnetizing. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's thing. I understand where everyone comes from with that, but at the end of the day, either you get them both together, or you only would have gotten Thanos and no Ultimate Encounter with all that extra stuff, because there wouldn't have been any money in it.
No one would have bought it then.
No
But
matter how much you say it, they do have to be in it for money. You might have gotten some 3D printed crap. They might have released the rules online, but this is, it gives you more value out of it. Maybe you don't need the value out of it, but it's there.
So, but looking at this and going through it, which head should I do? Mean Grin or Smiling?
Mean Grin.
All right, I'll give you the Smiling Thanos then. You're getting that too, Kathy. So I went. So I was looking at all the other stuff I bought yesterday or this weekend or whatever, and of course I got Drax and Ronan just because of Drax. I don't care for Ronan. I just wanted Drax just to finish out the Guardians, and I was like, man, they print out a lot of stuff. Now you only need one base, one of these larger bases for Ronan. You don't need both of them, and Drax is on a smaller base, and so I've got a ton of these Marvel bases from all this stuff, and then. Looking at it, like the Thanos, there's a bunch of skulls, or not a bunch, there's like 4 skulls on the Thanos sprue. And I remember, and this is mostly GW stuff, was you would get a box and you would have a ton of extra things. You would have a ton of extra arms, extra heads, extra torsos, you named it, because they just gave you so you could kind of customize your army a bit.
Yeah, used to.
Used to.
It was
And
always fun.
yeah, and it was like, oh, hey, I needed to make a Lightning Claw, Space Marine in this chapter. So what'd you do? You went online to the bit store, bought bits, and built, your custom guy. You knew that, what your bases was and everything, but now we've got very little bits on stuff. Now, like John, I'm sure you've got like a bits box.
Yes.
Yeah, which
Remember
is
their
like
catalog they used to put up? Remember the
Yep.
GW catalog that was like 2-3 inches thick?
I know that's rhetorical because I totally worked at Games Workshop when they released both of the
I know. I know.
Or
I know. I have
technically
the
all
last
3
one that they
but
put out.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
So, I mean, I thought it was interesting that we really don't get very many bits. Now, we got stuff that we're not going to put on, like, okay, I'm not going to build this Space Marine as, this model, so I've got, this 1 or 2 things left over.
So, maybe it's just your guys who don't get a lot of bits there, Gonzo, because, let me find the appropriate drawer here. I mean, I have this drawer. Those are pretty much just bits, probably not really any full models of what are they called? Death Watch. Maybe a couple, but that's just bits. Bits and bits.
Yeah,
I mean,
you still get them. I mean, like GW, you still get bits. Not as much as you used to, but you still get bits.
no, yeah, because the models aren't quite as I think did we talk about this? I think we might have talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, they're just not as posable as they used to be. Not as they're a lot more standardized nowadays. They're a lot more these parts go together to make this model. There's not as much customizability, standard customizability onto it. You just can't. You have to actually really convert them nowadays. You got to pull that extra arm, which you probably have from somebody, because some of the guys always have options. And you got to cut the hand out of it and put it in this hand and cut the weapon off the other one, and then make the wire fit the right way for the test.
I have seen some amazing conversions that people have done, especially for Necromunda.
Yeah, and Russ is right. It says a lot less build your own and more build what we want you to.
Correct.
And I don't think that's necessarily. I think it was a reality of making the best models they can. Because honestly, for a while there, I mean, their models were good, but they were always held back by the how you could customize them. Look at, say, the plastic Chaos Warriors, the first ones.
Oh yeah.
Like, sure, for the time they were great, but as you got further along in models, you're like, these guys are poop.
However, that never stopped me from using some of their bits on my later Space Marines.
Yep. And Crimson's like, GB also packs their sprues so full of parts these days that there's much room for extra bits. That's true. They do have a fair amount because obviously they want you to have all the weapon options. Now, you might not be able to do, a full 10-man squad out of one 10-man box, but, you'll have, like, for example, I play with, what are they called? The AdMech guys.
AdMecha?
Well, I forget what the troops are called off the top of my head. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I have no clue what.
But all the AdMech guys and the Skitarii, and you can't do three. They have 3 different special weapons. You can have up to 3 in a squad. Well, a box comes with 1 of each. So you can't do all 3 of the same kind. But by the time you buy 3 boxes, you can easily go, okay, here's, 1 squad with 3 of the Transauric Arquebuy and 3 of the guys with the radium guns and 3 of the guys with the plasma carbines. You can do that eventually, but you don't have them all in the same box. Which is, it's half marketing. It's half they want you to buy 3 boxes rather than 1.
Yeah, which, I mean...
to min-max your squad. I've seen people who built their squads like, I just took 1 of each gun and put 1 of each gun in the squad. I'm like, that's kind of odd, dude, but okay. And then maybe eventually they buy the second box, and then they switch the guns up a little bit. It's fine. It's cool. But it's not exactly what it used to be. But they kind of always have been that way. They've always made it... I mean, look at when Tau Battlesuits first came out. People were buying so many because they wanted to have all the right combinations of proper bits to put on their battlesuits. And you didn't get them all in 1 box.
No, definitely did not. I remember that. When they first came out, you were like, damn, I can't have all of this.
Well, nowadays, though, with, 3D printing and such, you can easily either 3D print guns or buy them from someone who's 3D printed guns or similar guns professionally. I mean, go to Shapeways, you can probably find 1 million guns. Go to, even Etsy and stuff will have people with extra guns and stuff. And people will sell guns and trade guns. It's kind of interesting subculture in there, but it is kind of annoying when you used to be able to just get what you needed.
Correct, because I remember, like I says, the Bit Store, GW Bit Store, and you would just buy, hey, I needed lightning claws, and you would just buy the lightning claws.
So great. Do you need me to give you the code for lightning claws? I still remember. That's how many we picked.
Yeah,
I still remember.
Oh, it's because that was one of the most sought after items.
Yeah.
Lightning claws were like
the
one
buy
of
the Terminator ones and make them work for non-Terminators.
Yep.
That's just the way it worked. I mean, and it was a lot of bits. But also, you realize as metal phased out, the need for a bits department went away. As metal became the least efficient way to do it, and as GW moved away from metal models, it just became less and less need to have a bits department.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Still, it was fun, and it's kind of sad to see it,
Absolutely.
you know, because making all those different weird chaos mutations and stuff was so much fun.
Well, fun for you. We're pulling bits sometimes, and we're trying to figure out, those of us who played the game, we're like, what the hell are they making out of this?
All those Keeper of Secrets bits from the old Keeper of Secrets, the metal one, were just fun to use on other things, random other things.
I'll be honest, one of my favorite conversions I did back in the day came from pulling an order for a customer, where they ordered a Chimera and then a Predator turret. And I immediately went, yeah, that works. And so I bought a bunch of Predator turrets super cheap and put them on my Chimeras. And man, if it does not make the Chimera look like an actual fucking tank. You're like, oh, hey, that actually looks like a real tank now. That foot's kind of weird, Guns. Is that when you finish?
That doesn't
look like a good
troop
together one.
transport, a Chimera. I never played Imperial Guard, so I don't know.
It is just a troop transport, but it looked tanky. It made it look like an old Russian troop transport. They had a little piddly gun on top, but having the full Predator turret made it look amazing. Like, I cannot tell you the difference. It's just from a tank head, tread head kind of point of view. You're like, it looks so much better. And then Forge World had an option to give it an autocannon instead of multi-laser, and I fucking hate multi-lasers because they were fucking trash.
Autocannon, yes.
Autocannons were way cooler, so I did that. And I'm like, I'm going to use the Forge World rules for autocannons on my Chimeras. You got a problem? And everyone's like, no, I don't have a problem with that. But sure, do what you want. And then drive around Chimeras with autocannons, and they look awesome. Where was I? Bits.
And
that's all from someone else buying stuff. I don't even know if they were doing that or not. But I saw them together. I'm like, that looks like that could be interesting.
Yeah, I just remembered that because I was looking at some of the pieces and I saw this, and then of course the Thanos box. I was like, yeah, I don't need like 90% of the stuff. It's gonna go to Kathy.
Yeah, the Thanos box is different though, because the Thanos box actually gets you a different game mode with it as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the change in size of Marine, yeah, says Wes.
Yeah, the Primaris Marines are different Marines, technically speaking, and they use different weapons.
Yeah, but I mean, who even would use a regular Space Marine anymore? Do people still have units of that? I don't know, because I haven't played in forever.
Well, I mean, people aren't just going to replace. So the Primaris Marines also don't arm the same way as tactical Marines.
Yeah.
Honestly, in a way, they're sort of smarter about it. It's not like, oh, hey, you've got one heavy weapon and one special weapon in a squad. So now it's like, okay, I need to combat squad my group so that 5 guys stay behind with the heavy weapon, or 4 guys stay behind with their weapon, and 4 guys go with the special weapon and assault. The Primaris Marines are much more focused in what they do, which is funny because I always thought the benefit of a Marine squad was the flexibility, the tactical flexibility of it. And if you wanted to be super focused, you'd be like, you should play Eldar. So it is kind of weird now, but I don't really care. I play Deathwatch, and I can do all sorts of nutty stuff with my squads. And I don't think I'll ever go. I mean, I have too many regular Marines to go just to Primaris. It would not be smart because I don't even play enough 40k to begin with to even think about that. But
every once in a while, I think about getting back into that, but I mean, not lately, obviously.
Well, I'm gonna do the Necrons, which I will be getting my sets of Necrons this Saturday. Yeah.
I got your release day.
Yeah, this Saturday from the friend of mine that I'm splitting boxes with. Oh shit.
Yeah, Russ. Actually, Deathwatch is a good way to use old and new Marines together, especially because you can mix up some units in a Primaris guild. Yeah, you can actually put some Primaris guys in. I mean, you can't put Primaris guys with regular guys, but you can mix the different types of Primaris guys, and they get abilities. It's interesting.
That's the thing I was thinking of trying was I have a shit ton of Dark Angels and like trying to throw together some kind of, I don't know, something.
So, Russ, let me tell you two things about shoulder pads for Deathwatch. They all come on the sprue now. You get a ton of different chapters worth of shoulder pads on each sprue. And there's some repeats, but some of the chapters repeat their symbols, so you're all good. So it's really not that bad. And I didn't even spend a lot of money on Deathwatch. I traded old guard stuff and all, and then bought a little bit of stuff and bought a pre-made army and got all the bits with it from another buddy because he's like, I don't want to do Deathwatch anymore. John, here's a great deal. And I'm like, I hate you, PD, because all your deals are great deals. But that's also why I have Hugin and Mugen, the two flying gunships. They're supposed to be really better in the new edition. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to any of the rules or anything yet.
I haven't because there's no point, because it's all just a mental exercise.
Yeah. Now when my friend Nick...
you actually don't need to worry about either pad. Both the pads come in the box set. So it's really only a problem if you need to get the Primaris Marine. So that might be a little bit of a deal. But they actually sell sets for that too. And you can probably find people who have extra shoulder pads might be able to get them to you cheap. I mean, if you weren't across the pond, if I remember correctly. Be easy to get them to you. I have a million extra. I'm not going to use all these. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Loud.
Go ahead, Gonzo. Sorry.
I was saying that my friend Nick, we did the splitting of all the stuff for the box sets, and I'll be getting like 3 sets of Necrons, and so I'll be putting those together and see what it's like. But I haven't really paid attention to the rules because I can't go out and play.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of paying attention to rules so you can go play? I mean, you can say yes, you can, but at the end of the day, it's not really worth the mental space until you can actually do it.
Now, I might, like my friend Nick, him and I may get together and such, because we're both teachers and we're all, kind of self-quarantined anyway.
Yeah.
Type thing. And we'll get together at like someone's, his or my house, and we may play whatever, because I think next week I'm getting so I was supposed to get that Gundam model Monday, but it came in early. And then Joe Marshall's stuff is coming in Monday.
Yes.
Which I'm kind of really looking forward to.
Shout out to Joe Marshall, a.k.a. Immortan Joe, for just sending a bunch of stuff to Gonzo to give away for events and stuff. It was super cool, you, Joe. That's why I love you, bro.
Yeah. And then Warcaster is starting to ship, and people are starting to get their stuff already. So, possibility that I'm going to get that next week, too. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting week of models.
Yeah, I mean, the Battletech Kickstarter just started talking about shipping and stuff. They're not expecting it quite yet. They're running behind because, hey, what? You telling me that a company in China is running behind? Shock face.
Yeah.
But they started talking about it, so it'll be cool because it'll be a ton, like a metric shit ton of Battletech miniatures when that come out. And Gonzo, I don't know if you've seen any of the art for some of those.
Mm-mm.
Some of the guys doing it. There's a guy on Twitter, Bishop Steiner. I'm pretty sure that's not his real name. That's his Twitter handle. He's doing some of the artwork for some of those, and man, the upgraded versions look so good. They took mechs. I'm like, I would never even consider this mech because it fucking looks terrible. And then you look at the new artwork, you're like, holy shit, that is awesome. How do you take a mech that looks terrible and make it look awesome? You ask him. He's on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I mean, and some of those models were looking really good. I'm very pleased. Oh. Banan's like, give me Timberwolf, please. I don't know what a Timberwolf is. Do you mean a mad cat? Sorry, that's all a little Battletech Clan Air Sphere joke there.
I knew that was coming too.
You have to. It's a running joke.
I'm just over here painting Gabby, which was sent to me by my friend Mike Disney, Art of Mike Disney on Twitch, and he just sent us a box of random miniatures, one of which is this little gnome.
Oh.
Could be a gnome, could be a halfling. That my friend Christine Van Patten sculpted.
Is it a gnome or a gnome?
A gnome. A
gnome.
gnome.
It's a gnome.
Is it a good gnome?
Is that like Gary Gnome? All the GNUs of Gary Gnome?
Yep.
Well, that's Thanos is done.
Joke right there.
Great space coaster. Holy shit.
Thanos next to Groot.
Okay, when I put my Thanos together, he only gets one other boxing glove because I don't want to cover up the.
Well, you can do the Infinity Gauntlet or not the Infinity Gauntlet. It's up to you.
Oh, okay.
There's two different gauntlets.
He's about to start dancing.
He's totally going to be strong.
Cue some disco music, Bee Gees, or if you prefer, go with Tragedy, the all-metal cover tribute band to the Bee Gees. Shock. John likes the metal version better. Then again, honestly, I actually like this music because it's very close to ska music overall.
I like disco music.
Oh, man.
I ride my exercise bike too.
No, I know that you were giving the channel a bunch of shit because the punk rock channel does a lot of ska music on.
So I'll only give it a little shit because technically ska is just happy punk rock with a horn section.
Yeah. And stuff, but man, every time I've been driving, it's been just nothing but ska music nonstop on that channel, and I'm like, I'm not having a problem with this whatsoever.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Look at that. Tactical Rock on Drax.
Motherfuckers.
What?
I hate Tactical Rocks.
I knew John was going to say something.
Is it a rock or is it tactical debris?
It's a rock.
Motherfuckers.
It's a rock.
I think. Find the bits box. I have tons and tons of Infinity models where I had to cut off their tactical rocks and put them on something else. They're on all sorts of stuff. And I tell you what, extra GW bits come in super handy. I got one guy who had this giant tactical rock, so I had to get the power pack from a standard Imperial Guard Sentinel and put that on the ground, cut a bit off of...
For those that don't know, John, a tactical rock is what now?
That is when they just have the model's foot attached to a rock for no fucking reason. Because there's no rocks on fucking normal streets.
Yeah, it's not attached to the foot, so you have to glue it to the rock. So I'm going to see if I can glue it to... See if this base is...
Spidey is okay because Spidey has tactical debris.
Correct.
It fits. Like Vision. Vision has tactical debris, so it fits. Captain Marvel's a little problematic because she technically has a rock, but you can kind of paint it like debris. It's really a pain in my ass. It's like, sure, back in the day when we were all just using plain plastic bases and just putting them on flock or whatever we could anyways, it didn't matter. But nowadays, we're using fucking sculpted bases stopped with the fucking tactical rocks. I'm not even drunk and I'm cursing like a sailor. Jesus. Bothers me. Stop that shit. If it's an option, that's cool. If it's just, here's a tactical rock. Hey, here's a tactical fuck you. Learn how to sculpt.
Yeah, his foot has got the peg on the bottom of it to put into the rock.
I am about to go text fucking Will Pagani. I'll wait till I get my kit. At least then I have a real breeze in the pitch. What the fuck is this?
GW has the rock fetish recently too. Or did you already read that because
I saw
didn't pay attention? So.
Luckily, none of the models I play with have tactical rocks, so I don't fucking worry about it. And honestly, GW's done a better job in the past because, I have Eisenhorn and Commissar Serena Rain, who both have full bases of sculpted, which is fine, especially for one-off characters like that. But when you have just a normal model with a tactical rock, it's like, fuck you.
I imagine it's because they're trying to make the pose more dynamic.
Well, yeah, well, instead they can just make the fucking pose without stuff that just completely takes away from the base and looks completely out of place. Or if you put on space decking because they're Guardians of the Galaxy, what's this rock doing here in the middle of this fucking starship decking? I don't know, just was there. Fuckers.
Rocket stole it. He needed it for something.
That's a good point.
Now, on the other hand, what they did with Rocket was muy bueno.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. I mean he's coming out of Groot.
Very good. That's how you do it. Or since he's here, or Star-Lord, they made the plume of smoke there, and it makes him a little fragile. I'm a little worried about him.
Yeah, he could pop off from the brick.
He could. He's not super bad, but it makes you a little worried. But they can do better stuff than that.
Yeah. But a little hunk of debris under Drax's foot. You could have just kept.
It looks like it's debris, but it looks like it's just a rock.
No, it's just a hunk of dirt.
He's got the girder and all that stuff. Like, okay, Spidey's bouncing off of some debris from a building that was wrecked, and that things. That's fine. I mean, it's okay. I'd like it a different way, but it's okay. I don't know if everyone saw, but they actually spoiled the rules for Miles Morales and for Ghost Spider online.
I did see that. I didn't get to look at Miles. I did see Ghost Spiders, but to me, I don't care what the rules are.
I don't know if I saved his rules or not. Let me find out here.
I don't know I don't even care for the rules. I'm just picking it up because Miles is a badass. Don't give a damn.
Still need to watch Into the Spider-Verse.
Kathy, that is your homework for the week.
That's my homework?
That's your homework because you won't be here next week. So that is your homework. I mean,
you should see the best Spider-Man movie.
Of all time.
Yeah. I know that's what you said. It was the best one. So, and I know that it's on the Disney Plus. So.
Yeah. And Netflix.
Yeah, so...
That is your homework before you come back to the show in 2 weeks.
All right.
Damn, Gonzo's off. He's still giving homework. Teacher ever.
I'm okay with that.
Which I have a decently robust media section today.
I don't.
And not all of it's movies and TV shows.
I watched movies. I watched 2 movies.
Oh, what?
She watched more movies than I did.
Kathy, are you okay? Hey, Jim, reach over and check her temperature for me, please.
Oh, I'm hot. It's sweltering here.
So, we have to check temperature when we come into the building. We have one of those, just aim at their forehead temperature thermometer. And someone came in and registered like 101.
Ooh, that's not good.
And we're like, she's like, well, it's not in my hot car. I'm like, okay, well, we can't let you further into the building. And, one of my people came in and, registered 99.9. But then waited like 5 minutes and registered normal temperature, so it was fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Be careful with those things. You're going to get weird readings. Also, apparently my average temperature is 97.2, according to that thing.
It's true. Not every single person has the average temperature of 98 point.
Yeah, but 97.2 is a bit low. We had someone register like 94, and I'm like, you would be like we'd be calling the 911 right now.
Do you have a blood pressure, my friend? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm like, it's not right at all. But we're not necessarily holding the same weight, the full distance out. We're not. There's a lot of other outside factors because really, at the end of the day, it's just a quick gauge. It's not a great actual temperature taker.
Yeah, that's rumored going to be my job when kids get off the bus.
Hey.
I don't want to talk about how asinine it is to have kids come back to school and all this.
How feasible is it for everybody just to keep their kids home and in Defiance and all the teachers to stay home?
In Defiance? I mean, teachers could strike.
I mean, just to be like,
right there.
This is foolish. None of us are showing up, kids or teachers.
I will tell you that a lot of parents are going to send their kids to school.
Yep.
Because they're tired of dealing with them.
And they don't care about the numbers. They have their respect for percentages. Are like, well, look at that tiny percentage. Yeah, it's the only tiny percentage till it's your kid.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how many kids and teachers it's okay to get sick and die, or even just get really sick from this because we sent people back to school when it was still terrible. That number is 0.
That is going to be a tragedy.
It is. And people are going to get... I mean, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's move on to more happy stuff.
More happy stuff. So, yeah, I want you... Kathy, can you please watch that before... You have 2 weeks. Think you can get it done in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Do trash to Mars. Mars. Sorry, got a recall joke. Banyan, save that for next week.
Was Banyan supposed to be saving for
next? That's true, yeah. Next week is Gundam Week.
Yeah, next week is Gundam Week.
It's the official Gundam episode.
I can be old and be like, I don't know what any of these Gundams are. Last Gundam I watched was Gundam F91, which ironically came out in 1991.
You know what's hilarious is whatever Gundam I saw was later than that. It was in the 90s still, though. Gundam Wing something, I don't know. I saw like 3 episodes of it, and it was a really interesting story, but I was at somebody else's house watching their cable for a weekend, and so that was that. Then I never saw it again. I wasn't there anymore.
Secondhand Gundam I've seen Gundam F91, which I liked a lot. Gundam War in the Pocket, that was very, very good, but the pressing is absolute fuck. It's funny. It's a great show how you can change the narrative by having your protagonists be quote unquote the bad guys. And you can. I mean, it told a really good story. It's just depressing as fuck because the Japanese have no problem with that. Did you fit on there, Gonzo, without the tactical rock?
I think I'll be able to put him on this base, but give me a second.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to do there. And then the only other Gundam I saw a bunch of Gundam, Zeta Gundam. I bought at a anime con a long time ago. I bought one tape of it. It was fairly good, but I mean, it's ostensibly, just a standard Japanese sort of cartoony thing. It's anime, but it was more of a daily cartoon type. All this before the media section.
I think he will work on there.
Okay, good.
Let me finish putting the rest of his body on there.
Oh, totally glued him to the base before I glued arms and head on. Jesus, that's what I do.
I want to see the pose. Dang it. It's so freaking hot.
Oh. Wow. There's someone asking Banyan a question in the chat room. Now I'm impressed.
What? Why would you ask Banyan a question?
He's smart.
When?
All right, that's fair. I can't even argue that with Kathy.
Okay, so almost done. I only got 2 models put together?
Okay.
What time is it, by the way? I'm kind of curious.
8:50.
8:50?
Oh, yeah. Flat. Yeah, indeed. You definitely want clippers that are flat on one side. A bunch of places you can buy them. They're pretty...
I got these at Walmart for like 99 cents.
And I would generally suggest getting a better quality than that because you do get what you pay for, but those will be fine in a pinch.
Yeah, these have been pretty solid.
I mean, my best are from, hold on, 1994, and they still work. So, but I mean, again, it was one of those. I talked about before. It was the Kathy may remember, but the old GW hobby kit they first had way back then.
Way back then, I wasn't even in the hobby. I didn't get into the hobby until like 2002.
Well, I'm just going to sit here and feel really old then.
You do that. You do that.
They made a hobby kit, and they had clippers, sculpting tool, green stuff, pin vise. It was like, just here's all the stuff you might need, and it was the greatest purchase ever. Like, still to this day, it is my best hobby purchase ever.
Honestly, though, didn't they weren't they selling that even into the 2000s though? Because I remember getting a pin vise and the yellow-handled hobby clippers and the.
They did sell a version of it. It's not the same one
green
because the one I
stuff.
did was they had different clippers. It's back when they were still had no problem using other people's stuff without rebranding it.
Right on.
Because the clippers were Eurotool clippers. The files are from Eurotool. They were all from Eurotool, but
Okay.
they were very good. They were very good. I mean, I still have the clippers.
They were Eurotools?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna be like, I know a few of those.
I see what you
But
did
that
there.
just seems mean.
All right, he didn't work too bad standing on that rock. His foot is kind of propped up anyway.
Why is that?
That
I'm
right
being
there.
crazy here.
That
On
looks
Bacon's
fine.
post, there's the A. There's a little thing hanging off the A that's driving me fucking insane.
On your monitor?
No, it's not on my monitor.
There is. Oh my
What is-
god. What is
See?
that?
I don't know. It just drives me insane.
What mutated letter is that? Tilde is my push to talk.
To talk? Oh.
Oh, is it the tilde button?
I don't know.
Weird.
Where's it at? Oh, the A on and.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just weird.
Yeah.
I literally had to scrape my screen a little bit and then
Like,
scroll. Like, is that just my screen?
I did the same thing. I was like, no, that's part of the letter, not something on my screen.
Okay. This one, kind of not looking forward to because now Gamora has tactical debris. Or no, Nebula has tactical debris. Gamora has a tactical rock.
Fuckity. Fuck. Making me angry. Hey, I got Venom. I think he's got tactical debris too.
Yeah, I took him off of that.
I have a cool idea for a paint scheme for my Venom that is different than the other cool idea that I had for a paint scheme because I saw there's some comic book that's doing Venom where there's all these muscles like he doesn't have skin.
Oh, so it looks like he's been skinned.
Yeah. I'm gonna see
It's creepy as fuck.
I'm gonna see if I
It's
can
not saying.
find it.
Okay, so here's the instructions for Gamora and see foot and rock.
Yeah, that's just to try and give her more surface. It's a standard bullshit. I mean, honestly, I bitch about it, but you get 1 second weird games, and they'll do that shit with models and not give you something to put it on and be like, "Good luck getting it on a base." That ain't our problem.
I don't know if I'm going to put her on that or not. Nebula's is tactical debris.
I'm fine with tactical debris.
I mean, obvious, you
And
can see
honestly, I don't complain as much about these models because I put together Malifaux models and I just laugh at these models. Like, oh, you're telling me the old Chinese guy's little tiny beard is a separate part? It's all easy peasy from there. You don't have arms that are so tiny you're afraid when you cut them off they're going to break. And sometimes they do.
Yep.
Or straps, like, oh, the shoulder straps for this person's suspenders are separate because fuck you. That's why. Oh.
Gamora has her hair in 2 separate pieces.
That's fine. That's really not
Interesting. I do like this Gamora model, though. This Gamora model is really cool. It's a good solid. Cool pose. Cool armor. I like the white armor they did on this one.
Yeah, I just don't like painting white that much.
No, nobody likes painting white. Even Kathy doesn't like painting white.
Sure I do. It's fine. It's easy. What? What's wrong with it?
Just getting it to look pristine.
Yes, you can do that.
Every little mistake is magnified tenfold.
There are ways to do it. You just have to do it differently than you do other colors.
That sounds like work.
Yeah. Well, yes, it is.
It sounds like bullshit.
Bullshit. My big old freaking hands.
I do. I just don't try and do it too much. I just make it close enough. Looks good. Tabletop quality.
Okay, John. I just sent you a picture of this Venom artwork, and I want to freehand all that shit onto my Venom.
That's actually Carnage. That's why, because it's actually just red and black. It's just the way they did it.
Oh, they did the Carnage paint scheme on Venom?
Well, no, it's an issue of Venom, but I'm pretty sure it's Carnage on the cover.
Anyways, he looks all.
I do totally see what you're getting at, though. Yeah.
Muscles showing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, it's slightly less creepy since it's Carnage. Slightly less.
Yeah.
It's like Carnage busting out of Venom.
I don't know. I don't know any of these things. I don't read it. So I just I saw this artwork and I was like, that's how I want to paint Venom.
Oh no, fair enough.
No, yeah, that's cool. Legs. Be the time? It's almost time for media section.
Sharing secret photos we can't see. I can't share the photo on here. Gonzo is the one who has the power to do that.
No, you do.
Give me a second here. I can find this one.
I do?
Yeah, you can share the link.
I don't know where the link is. I took it because I saved this.
And cover.
See, at least you know what it's called, so you know what to Google.
I mean, it's right there on the cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, finding it might be a different thing, because there is a...
Because that picture, that's not a link that I sent you. That's just a picture that I saved onto my computer.
Gotcha.
So
I thought it was a link.
No link.
Interesting. Let's try this.
All right, well, John tries to find it. It is a picture of pretty much Venom bursting out, or Carnage bursting out of Venom.
There it is.
Anyways, it's all gross looking. Of course.
It's cool looking.
Oh, motherfucker.
Mother trucker.
I mean, I can find it, but I can't find anywhere it's like actually shows up. It's like you see it, then you go to look for it, and it's like, oh, nope, it's not there. I'm like, apparently it is a hard to find thing.
It's like a variant cover too to the actual thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it if you Google Venom issue 27 alternate or variant cover. It is there, like row 3, but it's when you click on it, it doesn't actually bring up the picture. But in any case, hey, you know what I'm gonna do? Nah, probably not worth it. Never mind. Yeah, so sorry. Maybe we'll actually easy thing, easier way.
Wait, found it. I found an eBay link, but it has that picture in it, so I'm gonna post it.
Okay, I was gonna do something easier and just.
Whoops. I don't know how to work. I don't know how to work my keyboard, apparently.
Russ wanted it? I don't have Russ's females, but...
It's a long-ass link, and it's to an eBay thing, but it has the image on it.
Russ, you should just message us on Facebook on More Than Dice, and we'll send you the picture. That's easy, too. Holy crap, that is gobbledygook. That is the picture, though. That is exactly...
Yes, it is the picture.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, and it says Venom number 27. Gabriel Del Otto.
Set. Second here. There we go. Better. I can get you. We can get there now.
Doo-doo.
Easier version. Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome.
There you go. There's an easier picture. Well, because once it had the artist's name on there, you gave me more details for the Googles to work.
See, don't you think it would be fun to paint Venom like Like, I mean, he's little. He doesn't have all the weird stuff sticking off of him. This is my Venom.
But
even
you
though
could.
I'm in small screen here.
I think it would look awesome. I don't think it'd be fun, but I think it would look awesome.
You know what? I'll paint him and he'll. Ooh, you know, I've already done something similar, and that's the eyeball boob monster.
The eyeball boob monster.
Yeah, long story. I painted him on stream though.
Yeah. I had a feeling you painted on stream.
You could green stuff all the little bits coming off of them.
I mean, oh, you know what I could do? These are the horns from the Suzerain of Desire that I'm not using because I don't like the horns. But look at them. They would be perfect to cut up and put on that guy's back. They're just the right kind of crazy, horny goodness.
That is interesting. Sorry, someone shared something I was looking at.
What be the time? Oh, 3 minutes late.
It's time to get ill.
What's the time? It's time to get ill. That's a flashback. All right, let's switch over to media section. I'm tired of putting together Gamora. Media. Kathy's little screen's kind of messed up. Holy crap.
I'll say.
Let me fix Kathy's.
Fix your screen. Fix the screen.
The screen's just fixed.
Mizzy sent photos.
I didn't do it.
No, it's Mizzy. Oh, cool. That looks good, Mizzy.
All right, so Kathy's
about the arm being fiddly.
On which one?
On Gamora.
Yeah, it was.
Russ says Kathy's idea of fun and mine differ greatly. It looks like a ton of work and glazing and mixing. We'll just let Kathy do it and see hers rather than do it myself.
I like where your head's at.
So let's see. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 2 of them are conclusions. 3 of them are conclusions.
Respectfully.
Do what?
Respect. With all due respect. Good life.
Well, 2 of them are video games.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, 2 of them are video games. One's a movie I watched with a friend. The other one I partially watched with a friend. And then 2 of them are series that I finally finished. So. That's what I always do, Russ. That's what I always do. Kathy, you have 2 things. John, how many do you have?
2.
2? All right. Well, let me go. I'll get with one of mine. And let's go with Warrior Nun. I finally finished the series. Got through the whole thing. Luckily. They spent the entire season trying to get this girl to use her angelic powers to do fighting demons and all this other stuff. And the final episode, you think she's going to be able to use it and do it? And she doesn't even get to. The entire series builds up to her being able to control this angelic power, and they don't even let her do it during the first season. So what is it, 8, 10 episodes, 8, 10 hours later, they end the season, not on a cliffhanger, they end the season right before all the nuns and her go to fight demons and a bunch of bad guys. They show them rushing in. I'm like, we've been waiting 8 to 10 hours for this, and you don't even give us the battle? This one is a completely, utter, crappy writing. Horrible. And
I was just thinking that, Russ, it was like the end of Angel, but the Angel was at least ending the series.
And nothing. And it was just, I was like, this is bullshit. whoever wrote this and thought this would be a good cliffhanger was not. You've been waiting this whole time to get these nuns or these warrior nuns and her together to do some battling of some demons to see some cool stuff, and they don't even show it. Not even a little bit either. You're just like, what the fuck? And for like 80% of the season, she's all goo goo gaga about this guy that she met in episode 1 and loving him and can't wait to be with him, and she runs off to do all this stuff, and we don't ever hear from him again. Complete drop off of this of like 4 characters that mean nothing.
It's also good to note that it is a Japanese series and they sort of have different storytelling tropes.
It was just bad. It's bad. It's not as bad as
the episodes as you did.
Mostly I did it. I did it just to make sure I finished it, and I did other things in the process because this was horrible. Anybody that says it was good, they have very bad tastes. The story went nowhere. The characters were flat. Everything's predictable. It's just horrible. The writing is bad. I'm giving this like 4.5. This one's it's not as 4. I'll give it a 4 but it's bad. You build up the entire season for her to have these cool powers to do some cool things, and you wait for all these nuns to get in there and do these cool battles and fight off these cool demons, and they leave it on the cliffhanger of them running to the demons and doing this. I'm like, no. Give me like them fighting and kicking the shit out of a bunch of demons and all this other stuff happening and all this cool battle stuff going on, and like we don't know if the 4 people that got stabbed are gonna live, something like that. It was just bad. It's coming off the list. I'm not gonna even go with it. It's done. Special effects. You can tell that they started running out of budget because the special effects started going down too.
Oh.
Not even foreplay. There wasn't even good foreplay in it either. Banyan says all the foreplay, none of the payoff, huh? And I'm like, no, there wasn't even good foreplay. You just were waiting. Type thing. So, highly pass. I wouldn't even, don't even go for it. Just get it away. Just go. Just go somewhere else. Let's see. Let's go with The Order since I finished that up. I did finish the season of The Order, and it was actually pretty decent. This is the one where it's got werewolves and mages and so on and so forth. And I finally finished it. And the season, not going to spoil it, decent ending to the season. Kind of curious how they're going to go with it. But it was all right. It wasn't bad. I thought there was one episode that they finally kind of just jumped the shark because they had guest actors on there. And it was like, really? Do we need to really put these people in there? But it was actors in the real world playing themselves in this show. Huh. And you're like, what? And
like
it just
William Shatner playing himself in
Star Trek. But they had 2 named actors playing. Yeah. It was funny, but it just didn't fit. There was 2 90210 actors in it that were playing themselves as mages, and it just didn't fit. It was like, why? It just didn't fit the universe, didn't fit everything.
Which 2 was it?
Actually, it'll spoil it if I do that. I have Banyan tell you, or I'll text it to you.
Or Banyan tell me that. I'm just curious if it's the same ones I would expect.
Yeah, you're probably sure. It probably is. But it just felt out of place. It didn't feel like it needed to be there. But I guess they have to make their money somehow. They probably bought their way into that spot, so I don't know. But overall, the season wasn't bad. For a second season, it was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. The characters are still good. I like the werewolves more than I like the mages. I think the werewolves actually look really cool. Hopefully it gets another season because I like to see where it goes. Just because they had the 2 90210 actors in there, it gets a 2.
It's not the two I thought. I would have thought one of them, but the other one I would have thought was someone else.
Yeah. So other than that, it was a good one. I didn't have a problem with it. Kathy, what's your first one?
I saw Into the Night. 1980s. I don't remember exactly when in the 80s, but it was young Jeff Goldblum and young Michelle Pfeiffer. And Jeff Goldblum is in a sort of loveless marriage and has insomnia and he can't sleep. And his coworker, he's like an aerospace engineer. And his coworker recommends he should just, because they live in LA, he should just fly to Vegas and just like let off steam there. If he can't sleep and he's going to be awake all night, then why not go have fun? And so he goes to the airport and he's parking his car and he chickens out. He's about to back out. Michelle Pfeiffer enters the scene. She's in the parking garage. And she ends up on the hood of his car and he has to rescue her. And they have an entire night of just bizarre people chasing them, trying to kill them. And, but it's funny. It's so funny. It was awesome. I would give it one space herpy, but I love Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer and
Dan Aykroyd and Bruce McGill and David Bowie.
David Bowie, yes. Oh my God, his character. And Dan Aykroyd just had a small part, but still.
Huh. Doesn't have great ratings, but it sounds like a good solid, just quick. It
was fun. It was fun.
It's a John Landis movie too, so I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty quality in general.
So I recommend it. I mean, I'm no reviewer like John is, but I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it. It's very 1980s, but in a good way. So.
Fair enough. My first movie is very indicative of its time and all too, and that is Necessary Roughness.
Oh man!
Which is one of my favorite football movies. Even if now that I'm reviewing it with a more experienced reviewer's eye, I'm like, it is very formulaic. In fact, honestly, if you watch this and something like, say, The Replacements, one of my other football movies, you can really see the similarities. So the whole theme is the Texas State college football team, who just won a national title, is rocked by scandals. They're steroids. They have everything you could possibly have go wrong to a team go wrong, and they basically all get booted out. And so they hire a coach, played by Hector Alonso, to basically run a clean program of college football players from the actual student body. Which, if you know anything about college football, that's fucking crazy. So he hires his longtime friend and usual defensive coordinator, played by Robert Loggia, who's great because Robert Loggia is always great, but he's especially great in this because he's really playing up the grumpy and gruff coach, which is awesome. And their whole answer, because they don't have a quarterback, they get a lot of students who can't do whatever, but they're trying, is they go and get Paul Blake, played by, God, what's my brain stop? The guy from Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Scott Bakula?
Yes.
Scott Bakula, thank you. Who is, had to miss out on college because he had to take over the family farm after his father passed. And they play him, you're like, wow, bring him in. And, he's supposed to be 34. And they play him like he's fucking 50. It's like, oh, you're so old.
Old.
Like, you guys are fucking stupid. Really? It is probably the most egregious part of this entire movie at this point. Is he's like, oh, I'm so old, all my back hurts. I'm like, 30's not that old, fucker. Like, you realize many, many, many NFL quarterbacks are playing way longer than that, even then. So he comes in and they get some other people. They've got Sinbad in a role, as a former. He was in football about the same time as Scott Bakula's character, but now he's like working on his master's, so he's taking classes and teaching, so he's got eligibility for football. So they get him in, and honestly, he's fun in it. The biggest problem is this movie's just super cookie cutter. They don't give any of the characters enough time to really breathe. Really, aside from Scott Bakula's character and kind of the head coach. But aside from all that, it is pretty much an amusing football thing. They don't really butcher the rules of football. They're usually pretty good with it, even if it's a little like that slightly unnecessary roughness. Slightly. But it's a good solid, hour and a half, 2 hour watch. You'll get some chuckles out of it. It's hold on, what's his name? There's one comedian actor in it, and I think it's his best damn role in ever. But I have to remember his name. But it's got a bunch of people. It's actually this cool scene where they get a bunch of convicts to come and help with the team, but they just show up out of the bus and beat them up.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
All of those people are all, it's like Jim Kelly and Jerry Rice and Dick Butkus. It's a bunch of athletes and football players and all that. It's Rob Schneider's in it.
Oh yeah.
He has a small role and he's very good because he's not abrasive, because he's just there a little bit. So as far as overall quality goes, this is not a great movie. I enjoy it way more than it deserves. But yeah, it's also a 1991 movie, so it's very much product of its time. I would say the average person didn't know football that much, especially not college football. It was way before college football started getting big. But it's a hoot. I'll give it 1.5 space herpes, which I'm sure Gons would probably say I'm being a little generous.
What's funny is I actually saw that when I was stationed in New Jersey, and I was like, we're on break. We can go out this weekend. Let's go watch a movie. And that was on there, and it's got some decent scenes in it. But yeah, it's very 90s, late 80s, early 90s comedy.
Yeah. It's more comedy than football. I think The Replacements is clearly a better movie if you want to watch only one of them.
Yeah.
But it's harmless and good fun. I saw it for my birthday when I turned 16, just to make you feel old there, Gonzo. You're welcome.
So, I was probably only like 19 or 20 during then, so.
Fair.
My next one is I finished Last of Us 2 on the PlayStation. Of course, that's the only system it comes out on. I remember we were talking about this a little bit last week where I had to play the main bad guy. And I had to play... You do what?
And you did not like that.
I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I still don't like it. I don't like that I had to play her, because to me the story isn't about her. It was about... I'm turning off these lights because it's hot. It's about Ellie and Joel and all the family and whatever. And I get it. It's their story. They can tell it however they want. I'm not going to dog them for that. I just didn't like playing as that character. And not that the character was bad or written bad or the character wasn't interesting or, I didn't feel for her. I just didn't want to feel for her because she did some pretty atrocious things. And she did them because she had to or she felt that she had to. As with this and everything else, this is a story about revenge. It's about, taking it out on someone that killed somebody. And you're going to go get them back. This story definitely has a ton of feels. There are a ton of... the game's still being out, and there's a lot of people, still playing it, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But, I mean... Crap. That game really punches you in the gut a lot. And it's good and bad. It's good and bad. I like that the game did, that it does do that to me, because I want that game... The Last of Us should do that. That's the way it's meant. It's not meant to just run around, shoot, and kill things. You want a good story. The ending, an appropriate ending. I thought the ending was going to end a little early, and it didn't, which I thought was good, because you still had more to do. but the character Ellie just can't catch a fucking break in this game. I didn't have a problem with the ending so much. I understand where they were going and why they did it. I did read an article that in the ending it was supposed to be much darker, and they changed it to fit the narrative more of what they were trying to do with this. And I was okay with it. I'm okay with what they did. I just don't like that I had to play the main bad guy. Um, I don't know if we'll probably see a Last of Us 3. I don't know where we'll see and what we'll do. But as long as it's good storytelling, I'll play it. And this was good storytelling. That's what I'm going to say. This game, graphics-wise, incredible. Storytelling, really good. I just did not like playing half of my game as the bad guy. Bad girl, I should say. But I give it only like one space RP because of that. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. If you liked one, you'll like two. Gameplay, nothing hugely outrageous for it. But I didn't do the 100%, as people are saying, get the 100% completion. I don't do that. I play a lot of the games, especially like this, for the story. So I was good and happy with where I was. So, one space RPs. Can't wait to see what they're going to do next.
Kathy?
So my second movie that I watched, I found on Amazon Prime yesterday, and it's a Belgian-French movie, mostly subtitles, a little bit of English in it. It's called Lost in Paris, and it's about this Canadian who works in a library, just like in this tiny little town, and all you see at the beginning is like, it's almost like in the beginning of Rudolph, where you see the North Pole, and there's all this like fake snow flying and all these fake hills and all these tiny little houses, right? But so this is her town in Canada. It's just like snow, 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 and snow. And she's in her library. The door opens. Wind, snow comes in. Everybody who's reading just like shifts. The wind blows them. There's a lot of physical comedy in it. Anyways, so she goes off to Paris and to be with her aunt, and of course her aunt is 88, and they want to put her in a home, so she's hiding from the authorities. She's hiding from the health services people in Paris who want to put her in a home, which means that she's not home when this girl gets there to try and take care of her aunt. The girl loses all her stuff through a hilarious series of events. So she has no passport, no money, can't find her aunt, so she has nowhere to stay. Runs into this homeless guy who eventually ends up finding all her stuff on accident. But it's just this series of bizarre things that happen to these people that kind of throw them together in this sort of swirl of running into each other and then going away and then running into other related people and then leaving them and then getting thrown back together, and it's so funny. It's just I was laughing out loud at a whole bunch of points in it, to the point of I was almost tearing up. And that's another one where it's totally worth it to be reading the subtitles of this. You'd be like, what the hell is happening here? Because that's what I was saying to myself a bunch of times, and then I was just like, just sit back and let it happen. And it turned out to be phenomenal. It's like a work of art, that movie. It's not like anything else I've seen. And it's called Lost in Paris.
Lost in Paris, interesting.
Yeah, it's an indie movie out of I think the producers themselves are actually the main characters, or directors, I don't know, whatever it is. They're actually the main characters, and they're Belgian, I think.
Fair enough. So it sounds like you really enjoyed that, and you would not give it any space herpes.
I would not give that any space herpes. Although maybe it would be fun to drink some wine while you're watching it. Maybe have some bread and cheese.
Very French of you. Well, my last one is I watched the first episode of a sci-fi series called Space 1999.
I know that show.
And I know Kathy heard this because I talked about this on the other podcast too, but I figured I'd share it here. And man, TV shows have changed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the model work is still just top notch. The Eagle is still one of my favorite sci-fi ships. It just looks great. It's got that combination of sort of real worldy with science fiction, and you're like, yeah, I could see them making something like that. And I love how all of their ships have that same cockpit, like it's from the Eagle, like they're all, they're just mixing and matching parts, because you would do that in the space race. You'd be like, we're not going to make a whole new thing. This cockpit works perfectly. Let's just have it be modular. And I love the whole modular ability of the Eagles. They take out the center portion and add new center portions for whatever they need to do. And so that's great. Martin Landau's great. The guy who plays the older scientist, I got to get his name because he deserves it, to be honest. Let's see here. I want to say it's Barry. Yes, Barry Morse plays Victor Bergman, who's their science advisor, and he and Martin Landau are great. Then Nick Tate plays Alan Carter, who's okay in this. He doesn't get a lot of other work. And the rest of the cast, except for one person, are great, and they're always, take it up a notch when you've got, Barry Morse or Martin Landau on the screen. You're like, this is good. And then Barbara Brain shows her fucking face. And you're like, what the hell just happened? She is the worst actor in that series by a long, long stretch. She's not just bad, she's fucking tragic in it. Tragic. In the first episode, she showed zero shred of emotion. She had almost no inflection in her voice. Every time she was on screen, you were like, fuck, God, just please cut to someone else. It was terrible. The plot of the first episode is guys are getting sick. They don't know why. It turns out I'm spoiling Space 1999. Oh my God.
What?
Uh-oh.
And they're all checking the radiation. Like, it's not radiation. Radiation Site 2 is fine. I don't know why. There's nowhere else it's all been. Then they realize that it's from Site 1, and what's happening is all the radioactive material they're storing on the moon, all the old atomic material they're storing on the moon to get it off the Earth, is working together and creating this giant magnetic field that eventually explodes and sends the moon hurling through space. And the backdrop for this is they're getting ready for a manned mission to the first planet they've seen that like it may have intelligent life, because it's like sending out radio waves and all, and it's not just constant, it's like various, it seems like it's actually sending out actual messages they just can't decode yet. So that's called Meta. And the problem is, really, at the end of the day, is that they just don't reference that ever again in the series. And there's no real character build-up. There's no real character arcs, at least early on. They don't set up, like, all the past. It's just about the stories they're telling, which I'm going to give that a pass, because that seems like it's how they did it back in the day. It's not like in the early, in episodic series, they had character arcs, because you may not see them in order. After the first episode, you might just see them in order, so why are you going to have big character arcs? You need it to get done and get resolved in an episode, maybe two. And that was just the horrors and reality of syndicated television. Which is why, I think television really got amazing when they stopped doing that. You get to the DS9, Babylon 5 era of TV, they started not necessarily doing that. And it was great. So, well, Space 1999, it's okay. It's worth a watch. The first episode is on YouTube for free. It is put on there by the guys who released it, and my brain's not working anymore. Or I tell you who they were. Let me find out real quick. It's I hate that I can't remember because, oops. Shot Factory put out the episodes on their YouTube channel because they have it available on their streaming apparently. But so it's amusing. I'm going to give it 2 space rupees. Ironic for a space series. One of those goes completely to Barbara Bain. Like, here's your space herpy. The rest of the series is all. That one's just yours. It's worth a watch, especially for the model kits. Maybe not get too far into it, but if you want to see some old sci-fi and how it was done in the day, there you go.
We're going to over a little bit.
Something. It's the end.
Actually, I want to talk about this one because I started playing it. Since I finished Last of Us, picked up another game because I've been waiting for it to come out, and that is Ghost of Tsushima. And it is a Japanese samurai game, open world, where you play a samurai that the Mongols have invaded, and you have to rebuild and get yourself back together and go rescue your uncle. This game is incredibly beautiful. I posted a screenshot that I put up on my Facebook page. You can go see it. It's just one of billions of scenes of where this is. The game is very good, with one caveat that I have to talk about. But the combat is very fun. It is very deadly. You get hit by a sword. You're not going to get one shot in the game like a Dead Souls, a Dark Souls game. But it is, you get hit by a few sword cuts, you're going to have some problems. It has a good story. Characters are well likable. It has a mode in the game that I think John and Kathy would love to see more of. It's Kurosawa mode. And what it does is it turns the entire game black and white. And puts all the little filters on stuff. And I was like, okay, that's neat. Go ahead. I want to watch the pretty colors. But it was neat. There are some fights that are like between you and another samurai. And it's they do the whole cinematic scenes of, waiting and everything. The game is played. The best way to describe this is it is a combination of a Far Cry game and a Assassin's Creed game. So you can play as a samurai and go up and challenge the entire group and say, hey, fight me. Or you can sneak around and kill people. But there are consequences so far if you don't follow the samurai way. It has a crafting system. It has a modifying system. It does have a lot of all pretty cool stuff. A lot of different armors. But so far, the game is really good. Story, art, minor caveat on the controls and camera, but overall, really neat game. I played in 4K. Yes, this is the one with the fox in it. You have these foxes that you follow the fox and you pray at the shrine or give honor to the shrine, and they give you bonuses and stuff. Excuse me. My biggest complaint is the camera control in the game. Most games where you have to fight multiple people, you can target lock on a particular person and make sure you fight them and just kind of go around back and forth. Ghost, Phoenix Paper, and you can pet the foxes too. But in this game, you can't lock on to a bad guy. It's just free open. And so you have to dodge and move around, and you have to rotate the camera around for your character. So you're constantly having to change the camera around. There have been plenty of times I've died due to camera issues. The camera will go behind a wall, and I'm like, I can't see this.
Oh, that's annoying.
And so it was like, really? So you're like constantly fighting the camera so you can see stuff, because the game's pretty quick and deadly. You have to parry to get certain things, block to get certain things, or just fighting a fucking bear. It's hilarious fighting a bear. Go fight a bear in hand-to-hand combat. It is pretty freaking hilarious. Style-wise, this game is amazingly in its look. Gameplay-wise, minus the camera, it's really good. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to go finish doing all my stuff, and then I'm going to go play some more of it because I'm really digging the story. I'm really liking the gameplay, like running around. And like I said, this is extremely gorgeous game. PS5 it's gonna have to blow me away because this game is gorgeous. And I agree, Russ. The camera issue, that should not be an issue with this game. That shouldn't happen, but it does, and it's just really annoying. You start off pretty weak in the game, but as soon as you start leveling up and building up your stuff, you start to become pretty much of a badass. And there's something about standing there and calling out, this camp of Mongols and going, "Bring it on, bitches!" And you stand and wait, and wait for him to make the first move, and you slice one and kill him in one hit. Slice another, kill him in one hit. Slice another, kill him in one hit. And like two of the people like run away because they're like, "Nah, fuck this." But it's very good. I highly recommend it if you like the Assassin's Creed, Far Cry type series games. I'll give a full review once I'm done with it, but so far, really like it. It's a lot of fun. For episode 131, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Guys, please take care of yourself. Watch after each other. If you need anything, put a post out there. We'll be there to do stuff. Don't forget, next week, Kathy will not be here. John will be here. And we will have Nestor be on. And he will be talking about Gunpla. And we will have me working on a Gunpla model. For all of us, good night. Yeah, if y'all heard it, you would get double both.
I see you will come along.